What is going on, everyone? It's Jacqueline here from Nothing But Tech. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are talking about the Samsung Galaxy S10e. So I've been using it for about 24 hours now, and I want to kind of give you my thoughts on it, what I like and what I don't. This is going to be a really fun video though, because I think that this is one of the best phones on the market, and I also think that it's one of the best value phones on the market right now. So I'm really excited. There's definitely some things that I don't like about it, so I'll tell you that too. If you want to see a full review of this phone though, definitely leave a like on this video and a comment down below. But yeah, let's dive right in. Before we do that though, there's a sponsor for this video. It's sponsored by SeatGeek, and I am so excited to tell you about it because I think it's amazing. So a lot of people always ask me, oh, you're a woman in tech in a male-dominated field. How is that? Like, do you have trouble getting opportunities and stuff like that? And the answer is no. It's been really an amazing community, and the companies are amazing, the collaborators and other creators are amazing, so I've had a really positive experience so far, and I want other females to join the tech industry. I think it's such an awesome place for everybody. So SeatGeek reached out to me because they partnered with the Flatiron School to give scholarships of over $200,000 to get women in tech. SeatGeek is always trying to empower women, and the Flatiron School provides an amazing opportunity for people from all walks of life to learn code, design, and beyond in a collaborative and fun environment. If you're a woman who's interested in tech or looking for a career change, the application is really easy, and the classes are available in person or online, so I think it's an awesome opportunity. You should definitely do it. Yeah, I'm excited. If you do it, let me know, but I'm really excited they sponsored this video. If you want to check out the 50/50 scholarship, first link in the description down below, but let's dive right into the S10e. So the S10e is kind of filling this interesting place in the market in the same way that the iPhone XR is. They're kind of like parallel devices on different ecosystems. So it's a $750 phone, so by no means is it cheap, but it's a lot more practical for a lot of general consumers than the $1,000 that you would spend on an S10 or an S10 Plus. Same kind of thing as the iPhone XR, but in a lot of ways it provides a lot more value than the iPhone XR does for your money. It's kind of like this premium, higher-end, mid-range phone where it's not really budget, it's not mid-range like a OnePlus 6T, but it's definitely not like flagship pricing. But I still think that it provides a ton of flagship features for the price. So starting out with build, this is where Samsung kind of always excels. We got this glass and metal sandwich, and on the back of this particular model, we have this absolutely gorgeous, really bright flamingo pink, but kind of orangey peachy color that just looks hot. Like, I can't really even show it to you fully on camera. It won't get the full effect to you, but it looks really good, and it's like this interesting color where there's some reflectiveness to it. I can't even really describe it fully, but it's like one of my favorite colors on a smartphone ever. And on the rails, you kind of have this desaturated version of that same color in the same way the iPhone XR had that, where it had like the really bright blue or yellow on the back and a slightly toned down version of that color on the rails and the metal. I think it looks really good. And if you're a kind of person that uses your phone caseless, you're gonna love to just put this phone down on the table and admire it. So build starts out really strong there. You got the headphone jack, yes. You have USB Type-C. You have a pretty solid speaker that gets pretty loud. You have the Bixby button, which can kind of be remapped this year, but not like fully. Like, you can't remap it to the Google Assistant. That is a bummer. But you got your volume rockers, you got your power button and fingerprint scanner all in one. I'll talk a little bit about that later. It's a little bit too high up though. On this build, which is definitely a smaller frame than the S10 and S10 Plus, it still feels like a little bit hard to reach. My thumb finds itself right underneath it. If it was just brought down a little bit, it'd be a lot better. I can reach up and get it, and I have pretty medium-sized hands, but I would still like if it was a little bit lower down. Then you have two cameras in the back, a flash, and one camera on the front with the Infinity O cutout. I'm gonna talk about that obviously when I talk about the display, but I wanna first address the fingerprint scanner, which is in the power button. It's really good, it's fast. If you're a righty, you're gonna hit it with your thumb. If you're a lefty, that will be your pointer for you, and it's really fast. It's one of the best that I've used on the market to date. It's reliable, and I just like touch the power button to open up my phone, and it's good. So on the S10 and the S10 Plus, you have the ultrasonic in-screen fingerprint sensor. That is a mouthful. And it's definitely higher tech, but it's a little bit less reliable and a little bit less accurate. And I've heard a lot of people actually say that they prefer not only this placement, but also the reliability of it. So it's a really good fingerprint sensor, and I don't think you're gonna have any problems with it, except for the height of it, which you get used to, but it would be nice if it was a little bit lower. And then talking a little bit about the screen, it's a 5.8-inch display, so it kind of parallels with the iPhone XS. And it's kind of the perfect size. Like, this phone is definitely one-handable. The form factor feels absolutely excellent. It fits in a girl's pocket which is kind of nuts because nothing fits in girls' pockets. They're like almost non-existent. This does though, and I can hold it comfortably for hours. I'm kind of a fan of the Infinity O display also. I forget about notches too over time, but this one was so easy to forget. It's so subtle, and there's a lot of cool wallpapers coming out that utilize it, and Samsung just made some as well. But I think that it's really in a great spot where I'm watching videos and stuff, and it doesn't make my experience less pleasing. In terms of the actual display, it is a lower resolution display than the S10 and S10 Plus, but it's still an excellent Samsung quality display. So you're getting extremely bright screen out and outdoors, and you're getting a really vibrant panel as well. Blacks look pretty deep, colors are really vibrant, and you have the option in the settings to go between natural and vivid. And I actually tend to prefer vivid this year, which is kind of surprising. It's not too extreme. And the display just looks really good for videos. Samsung just does displays extremely well, and they did it again here. And because it's a little bit lower resolution, that should help with the battery, which is only 3100 milliamp hours, so it's a smaller battery than the rest of the lineup. I haven't had enough time, obviously, to test battery life extensively and get like an average. On the S10 Plus, I'm getting absolutely excellent battery life, so I hope that holds true on the S10e as well. Only time will tell. But another thing that I tend to prefer, and a lot of consumers prefer about the S10e over the S10 Plus, is the flat display. So it's a little bit less flashy, and you have a little bit of a bigger bezel, so it's not gonna like take your breath away the second you see it. But because it's flat, it provides two main advantages. The first advantage is that it's gonna work a little bit better with accessories. On the Edge display, it's kind of hard to find perfect accessories that are easy to install as well. On this, since it's flat, there will be a multitude of accessories that you can find for not only cheaper prices, but that will also just work a little bit better. You're also going to eliminate the glare that you get on the edges of the S10. I actually love that display, and I definitely love the Edge, but sometimes you do get a little bit of a glare. And then the second main thing is that I find that it has a lot better screen touch rejection. So on the S10, I find that sometimes I accidentally register touch on the Edge, and it like brings up the Edge screen, which I do not want at the time. On here, since it's flat, it's a lot harder to accidentally do that. Performance and software. So One Touch UI is so much better this year. I made a full video going over the setup of my S10 Plus, and I installed a launcher, and I still stand by that setup and use it. But on this one, I'm trying just to use One Touch UI. It's much easier to customize this year. It's a lot lighter. There's less bloatware. And you're able to customize the size of the icons as well. I found that they were a little bit too big out of box, but I was able to make them smaller and fit more on the screen. Looks really good, complements the wallpaper really well as well. And you have the option also to install a launcher if you don't love it. It is 6 gigabytes of RAM on the base model and 8 when you upgrade to the higher performance model. 6 gigabytes though should be more than enough. I'm hoping RAM management seems pretty good so far. It's kind of just if it's gonna slow down over time as we've seen in past years. I really hope it doesn't. Only time will tell with that as well. But I think that with 6 gigabytes of RAM, it shouldn't really be that much of an issue. You're also getting a pretty solid specs list aside from RAM. So it's a really good performance phone so far, and it feels pretty fast and snappy. I've had one app crash though in the last 24 hours, so I'm hoping that that stays at just one after a couple weeks with it, but we will see. And then in terms of the camera, you're getting a pretty solid system here. So you're getting 2 cameras on the back and 1 on the front. So you're losing the telephoto lens that the S10 and S10 Plus have, but you're retaining and getting the same normal camera and the same wide angle camera. And I absolutely love the wide angle camera. It adds so much context to a scene, and it just helps you better tell the story while using the photo. And I'm all about like adding an idea behind a photo, and I love that I could be in San Francisco and take a photo and get the entire hotel and not just me standing in the lobby. I think that's really cool. So I'm kind of in love with the wide angle lens. It has a little bit of distortion, but I feel like it's just there for context, and it works pretty well in low light as well and in video mode. And then you just have the normal camera, which is pretty good this year. It still has a variable aperture. It still has pretty good contrast and exposure. It tends to overexpose more than it underexposes. It will blow out the highlights in order to retain the subject. I made a full camera comparison video comparing those cameras to other flagship smartphones. If you want to see that, I'll link it below. Overall though, it does really well with objects and landscapes. When it's shooting a person, sometimes it desaturates the skin and makes it look a little bit less flattering. There's no perfect like in the middle normal skin tone. It's kind of just your preference. I tend to prefer the iPhone XS just because I think it's a little bit more flattering to be like a little tanner, and it looks a little bit more like healthy. But it's just a personal preference thing, and I think that the S10e right now offers some of the most flexible camera setup on the market just because of that wide angle. Front-facing camera is also pretty good, and it's wide enough. It's a front-facing camera. It's fine. I know a lot of people are asking me to test out front-facing cameras more than I normally do, so I'll try to include that in the full review. But overall, like, the S10e is a pretty good phone. It gets a lot right. You get a really solid build, a great form factor for one-handed use and taking this phone with you, a really solid camera setup, a pretty competitive price tag for what it's providing, a great list of specs, a headphone jack, the fact that we have to mention that as a feature nowadays, but we do. You get USB Type-C, you get fast charging, wireless charging, you get a really excellent display, and just a solid experience and a good ecosystem to buy into. So I'm impressed with it so far. Obviously, things could change over the next 24 hours and over the next couple weeks in terms of things that I like and things that I don't. I haven't discovered all of it yet. So leave a like in this video if you want to see another follow-up video to this. Also, be sure to subscribe if you want to see a review on the S10 Plus, because that is coming soon. Subscribe right there to do that. Watch another video right here. A lot of other stuff coming. Definitely go check out the scholarship program. I think it's a pretty excellent opportunity, and I'm really hyped about it. So go check that out. Thank you guys all so much for watching this video. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Bye.